Welcome back, Armchair Generals. My name is Tom, and I'm playing my Japanese campaign in Hearts of Iron 3 using the Black Ice modification, version 10.43. Just restarted my game, saved me a couple hours into the game just to make sure it didn't crash on me, knowing that I'll have a good time ahead. Where we left off last, well, things should look a lot different than before, right? We conquered Gunsi Click last episode, and I also finished the conquering of China as well. We're going to be having, well, quite a few things happening here real soon. Among them will be China. All this will be kind of blue fairly soon. We'll just be holding the coastal area, so I'll need to realign my troops down here. We're also in the middle of mobilization here, and I think I need to demobilize this point just to kick that off, but also we can kind of change some laws and things like that, kind of get back to well, some better times. We're also spending all of our IC, 318 of it, towards consumer goods, and that's not going to stand for one because the laws will be changing in such a way that we'll be able to uh, get the consumer good need down. But also, too, we're going to be going to war against Tibet, hopefully soon. I'm not sure when that will occur. That decision will come up, but once it does, we'll take advantage of it. One thing I noticed before all my IC goes away from my build queue, we had focused on the IGN not only as a country, what our infrastructure is going to be, we're building shipyards for them, but also what the manpower focus is going to be, where we're putting all of our strength into, so we can build things quicker. Um, the last time we had looked, it was going to take about October before the Soryu and September for the Hiryu. Now you can see it's beginning of summer, more or less, middle of June, end of June for those two. So that's a good 2 to 3 months knocked off, about 2 months knocked off for each of those there. Zuiho actually finished December this year instead of whatever was going to be in 1940. So that's good all in all. We've got a bunch of destroyers that'll be wrapping up their builds here once we get our IC back under control. That'll be a bunch of IC that's going to go towards other things. And I didn't. This episode, I want to go ahead and staff my production queue as I need with fleets and things like that. So we're just letting it ride here, where all the IC is going, all the extra IC is going toward the future industry that we need. We are sitting in the red, but I think that's actually I'm not sure why that is. That might just because of the start of the game or something like that. We'll see better how things kind of go. We're gonna kind of peter along here, and I want to. We got terrorists. Let me go ahead and take care of them. We've got should be having some decisions coming pretty soon here, but I'm not sure when that is. Yeah, as I thought, it was because the start of the game, everything was showing as red. Here, everything is showing as green, but it's all saying from convoys, from convoys. That's not right either. So we probably have a few days before that all just evens out to where it needs to be. With all the IC that we have going toward consumer goods, we're losing, or a descent's going up by 0.02 a day. Not a big deal. I do want to take a little bit of opportunity here to gather my units here to get ready for the expedition in Tibet here. Let's see, where. So I think that's the only objective here. So well, we'll say Zibi Sanma. Manchukuo, Manchuria have already done their job. They don't need to be sending troops out here. When we go to war against Tibet, this will be quick. We're just going to be moving our troops right here to Banbar and move in, and Tibet will be a very quick capture there. The When we get a chance to go for Xingzhang here, yeah, Xingzhang here, that that might take a little bit longer because this is all mountainous terrain. Well, it's not showing because I'm in the victory point location. Let me switch over. This is all well desert actually. Okay, I thought northern side. Okay, northern area is mountainous. Alrighty, I was misunderstanding. It's mountains here and hills to get up to Xinjiang, but for Tibet, we just need to capture their capital, Lhasa, and it's done. This will be a 2 week war, maybe a 3 week war tops. But Xinjiang itself will be a little bit of a longer war, and I'm going to try to. I don't think there's anywhere else that will be able to attack because all the other countries that we could potentially go to war with. I think Siam we can go to war, but we get Siam through an event where we can kind of force them to join our side, and we can either puppet them or just outright capture them. So I think I'm not going to worry about attacking Siam, just because it'll be, well, it'll be difficult. We would need, once France falls, mid to late 1940, we're able to get French Indochina, and then I think is when we can go ahead and press Siam to join us, or actually outright even declare on them. But with these being the only two countries, I think I want to leave Xinjiang kind of alone, move forces up and around the capital, and just hold it, hold that area, and not attack the capital until December 7th, 1941, which at that point will be at war with America, and then within a couple months after that, the rest of the Allies. So the goal is at this point move all of my, well, not all of my units, but move my cavalry units out to the west here, so we can begin that next phase of the operation. Actually, well, I'll bring the, well, yeah, I think I'll just get rid of the Manchukuo. And here I am kind of dithering back and forth on what I want to do and all that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and send the Manchukuo expeditionary force back. They've been very good. Do you wish a unit to be returned? Do I have to do each one? Okay. Let's go and return them, and then over time they're going to just filter back. I don't want to waste any more manpower supplies on these guys. They did their job. I will give them full kudos in regards to um, what we're able to use them for. But honestly, I think we're pretty much done at this point here. Uh, this group, we don't need as many people going there as I will have, so we're going to send them on down here. Um, Actually, he doesn't need to go either, so I will send him down. I'm sending via. Let's see, I've got two. Let's go ahead and send him out. You see, I'm utilizing my core headquarters. I'm having them tell my guys where I want them to go and stuff like that. I find that just a little bit easier overall. The rather than, like, tell each group of guy, okay, go here, go here, go here, kind of type deal. Okay. So this will be, well, I don't say this is a boring episode. I don't want to throw anybody off on that, but I do think since I'm just doing what I'm doing here, it may not be the most exciting of episodes that we'll be having. But this happens pretty much after every Chinese conflict. You got to spend a little bit of time and reorganize your units, get them back to kind of where they are. You know what? Was it this guy or this guy or this guy? They need to come down to here because that's my railway artillery unit here. He needs to reset and get ready for Hong Kong in a year's time, a couple years' time here. Um, the funny thing is, it might take him that long just to get down there. Oh, we've lost our leader here. Let me just go ahead and assign leader. That's another thing they need to do as well, is I need to go through all of my leaders and figure out, or all my units per se, and figure out what leaders are doing what. The You gain experience, and the leaders will as well in the conflicts and wars that they do. Some leaders have actually done pretty well for themselves, and others, maybe not so much so. He needs to come on down here as well. He is basically just holding tight here. Oh, you know what? Totally forgot about this guy here, but he needs to get sent. Foo's out for right now. We'll transport him. There'll be a little shake up here in the way my hierarchy, all my units are connected together and whatnot. Plus, I need to change how the disposition of my units are. Some core headquarters only have a couple of units. Others are fully staffed. I need to make sure the ones that are fully staffed are um, or set aside ready for the coming conflict. Those that need some extra units, I need to kind of rejigger them a little bit, move units around. But that will be later. And that's something that I might do off screen, as it were, because I realize some aspects of the game may not be quite so thrilling as others, and I don't want to bore people. I value everybody's time in viewing this campaign. I don't want to bore people unnecessarily with some, a little bit of this unit disposition and things like that. Um, yeah, that militia needs to detach and go elsewhere. There's a lot of changes I need to kind of do to my army. Eh, I usually try to keep or have my army set up in such a way that um, I don't need to really change them once all is said and done. Uh, but I didn't really get off on a good foot to begin my war, my expedition into China, and throughout I just didn't really change much. So you saw there were several units that had red lines to their headquarter unit. That means they're not getting any benefits from that headquarter unit. Let's speed things up a little bit here. I'm not sure when exactly the Tibet supplies. Yeah, sure. Good. I don't know when the Tibet event pops up, but I'm hoping it'll be soon. Sure, I'll sell you energy. And they're receiving the units, dual guns. Let's see where we are. It's 36 tech. We'll let that ride. We're going to bump this up to 50. So we've lost some more leadership due to changes here. And I really, really hate to take this step, but I think I'm going to have to change some of my laws here. The amount of dissent is going up too much. I mean, 0.02 a day, it's not much of a big deal, but we probably need to take a look at some changes here. Um, we could drop this to the 6 months draft. We'll get an extra boost to IC here. We'll also get an extra boost to IC because the consumer goods during peacetime will drop to, or the penalty will drop to 0, meaning there'll be fewer IC, less IC needed. So that'll be a good round. Officer ratio is going to not increase all that much. We're not at conflict anymore, and we don't have any new historical units coming in too soon. I think 1939 we still have some. For the next couple of years, there'll still be more units coming in on a historical basis, or even through random events that I'll be losing officers to. But I don't want to. It kind of hurts me to see that I'm losing as much as I am. We want to get out of war economy. We can go to full mobilization, I think. So we get an IC bonus. Not well. We will lose our overall IC bonus, but it'll be halved nearly. The amount of money, though, will go up a bit. Consumer goods during peacetime, that penalty will be halved. Officer recruitment stays the same, and we lose the daily dissent change. So this will start dropping a little bit here. I really want the total economic mobilization, but I have to wait till January 1941, 2 more years before we can kick that in. And that's for that juicy 50% IC bonus. The plus the officer recruitment at 10% is really nice. So we're going to drop down to full mobilization. We'll keep the massive education advancement going. Heavy industry, we can leave this alone because honestly, the only, I mean, minimal. Oh wait, this is massive education. I thought I clicked on heavy industry. Yes, here we go. Heavy industry. I was like, well, why is there no? We want to switch down to mixed industry so we can lower the amount of. Actually, you know what? Let's let this ride for a little bit. Let's see where our IC is for consumer goods. Okay, that's where it's at. Let's go back to politics, laws, heavy industry. We're going to drop that down to mixed industry. So we'll lose the IC bonus. We'll actually gain a money bonus that negates some of the money loss that we saw in the other. And our consumer goods are going to switch by 60%. We'll lose the 35% penalty for peacetime. but we'll gain a bonus of 25%. So that's a good 50%, 60% move there for the consumer goods. State press, I believe we're leaving that alone. Would like to get to the propaganda for the extra, a little bit extra IC and manpower increase. There's a couple other juicy helps there too. Massive conscription. We'll leave this alone for right now. We're over 1,000. Um, so overall, I think we're doing pretty good. We're gonna be going through a huge build program pretty soon here. Now let's see where that puts us. Whoa, very good. Whoa, indeed. Let's jump that up here. We gotta there. Let's kind of arrange these reinforcements. I could leave whatever is needed. I'll just set it to that period. That'll start dropping since we're out of combat. Supplies, I could drop that as needed. We're almost at 50,000 supplies, and now that we're out of combat, any sort of operations going on, we won't be needing as much in the way of supplies. I probably will be able to start dropping this below the 30 because the amount of supplies we're going to be using won't be as much as we really need. This though, 0.09. Let's just drop this down to where that 0.09 is, so that way tomorrow in game. Whoops, not quite that far. Tomorrow in game, then we can just drop it down to the 58. That'll be another 30 IC thrown back into production. As I was saying, I want 200 or more in production here, so we can produce. We can produce. Okay, so we got some laws. I don't think I need to change any ministers at this point in time. 1939. This guy I do. I was hoping for a research lab from this research specialist. The research efficiency was really nice, really handy. But right now, I need to ramp this up. I need to get my aircraft carrier techs researched. Not that we're in a terrible bad situation with our carrier tech. If you look and see, we're researching. Well, I got a bunch of other tech that I need to research still, but nonetheless, we're researching the 1939 tech, the current year tech, and there's only a couple, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. This is 44 techs, so that's later. There's only 6 techs that I would also still research. And you know what? While we're here, let me just go ahead and do just that. Because since this is an urgent category for me, carrier class, I try to stay on top of and 1 year ahead of my research with carriers. I want them to be the best out on the in the Pacific Ocean. Um, we're researching everything that we possibly can, with the exception of the angled flight deck, and that's because that's so far in advance. Um, while we would get it researched quickly, we would get it before 1944, we'd be taking a penalty, time penalty to it. I don't know how great it would be because that's 5 years in advance here. I don't know how big of a penalty that would be. So I'm not going to waste a leadership point towards researching that. Overall, I want to make sure that my research tech gets staying on where it needs to be here. Uh, yeah, the that um, minister that I put in here, I don't. I've seen him. I've used him before, and I know there's several techs in here that he puts a few points into, anywhere from 20 to 35 points or so into each of these. Not to all of these, but into several of these here. I'm not sure which ones, but we could certainly use any help in here. So that way when it comes time to research a technology, like say fleet carrier class, if he puts a couple points into there, that's great. By the time I can research it, I already have some points into it, like you see with these. These are for the result of the my very first minister that I had, where he provided me research in all the naval force technologies except for carrier and submarine. It was light ships, destroyers, frigates, etc., cruisers, and capital ships. So technically, these 4 technologies here. So that's why these are as high up as they are. I have not spent any points on them whatsoever. It's just that research that he provided me gave me enough tech points in there. So by the time we get down to that, these will be done very quickly. I want the same thing to happen with this new um, Minister of Science. When it comes time for me to go ahead and get some of that carrier tech, I already have a few points in there. Going forward here, I don't think there's anybody else that we can really do I want this guy? the Naval Aviation Doctrine. Or wait, who do we have now? Army Aviation Doctrine. Yeah, we need the Naval Aviation Doctrine. Yamato needs to put in charge of that because we want that port strike and naval strike efficiency and the medium practical bomber decay. The Army Aviation Doctrine, the overall 5% to air organization is good, um, and the practical decay as well. But going forward, we really the ground attack's not going to be as needed as the naval strike and port strike efficiency. We're going to be moving into the next phase operations here in 1941 when we attack America, and then eventually the rest of the Allies. It's going to be a lot of carrier battles. I'll be using a lot of naval bombers to try to sink as many ships as we can. So we want to make sure that we're doing well there. The areas of operation that we're going to are going to have very limited air base resources. So our ground attacks won't be used quite as often. So yeah, naval aviation doctrine. Decisive battle, I think that's, or is it? Yes, there we go. I was waiting for the carrier, the power projection doctrine. Naval strike efficiency yet again. Aircraft carrier practical decay -5%. That's good. And the carrier protection efficiency at +10%. We'll throw Yamato in charge of that as well. Decisive battle. I want to say that's the best because this is my other guy, and we were slow. We need we don't want to get slowed down. I've built units to be fast. School of Defense. We could do School of Fire Support. We'll lose 5% in land organization, and artillery practical decay is going to go away. But where previously our attack reinforced chance was actually a -10%, meaning that any units that wanted to get into the battle, let's say the overall front was 26, and the amount of troops that I had in there was about 20, and I had troops in reserve that could make their way in. Basically, you roll a percentage, and each time that you roll, you're trying to get that percentage chance to be able to move that unit in to assist. So this is saying that you're not going to be able to attack. You're not going to be able to jump into from the reserve to the main attack there. So let's move to the School of Fire Support. So we're an even 10% across the board, and a 10% soft attack would be handy as well. Head of Intelligence, I don't think we want to change him. He's given us IC and IC efficiency. We will come in 1941 move to the Naval Intelligence Specialist because the Naval Intel plus 25%, that'll tell us what's in the oceans, not necessarily surrounding our provinces or our sea zones that we're in, but far away we can find out where, say, the American fleet is congregating. And plus naval base efficiency, that'll help out for sending supplies to that naval base. The others, yeah, for right now, industrial specialist, that IC is good to get. Okay, crime fighter, I think is the best you can possibly get, period. No one else is really, I mean, man of the people is pretty decent. Um, minus 10% land organization, though. I don't like that. Yeah, I just keep the crime fighter there. Military entrepreneur. Do anybody that's a little bit better than that? Not really. I mean, we don't need land build speed, so military entrepreneurs not all that great in that regards. But air build speed is that's negating the penalty we have and the different laws and decisions we made at the beginning of the year for favoring the IJN. But we could do an air superiority proponent. We're not hurting for oil, so we don't need this guy or resources. Period. Look at that! Wow, we must have taken once we took China. We must have taken a bunch, probably 20 to 30,000 in rares from them. So we really don't need this guy. Air organization of plus 10%. Let's go ahead and do that. Right now, currently, the military entrepreneur, we're getting a hit to money, which is not that big of a deal. And the air and land build speed, the air build speed, we need more than the land build speed right now. We've got a few units that we're still building, sure, but they can trickle in. There's no rush on them. The infantry practical decay, we're not going to be building that. Well, I say we're not going to be building that much more infantry. We're not going to be building frontline units all that much more. Maybe a couple more Marines. On that note, I'm going to be building some Mountaineers, probably about 10 Mountaineers I want to send through Burma and India. Um, but I think we need the air organization. We need this more so because CAGs are our lifeblood. Foreign Minister, the ideological crusader. I think that's possibly the best we can hope for right now. There's really nobody that gives like IC or anything like that. Everything else is kind of meh for our purposes at this point in time. Even though we're going to go to war in Tibet, that's going to be a quick battle. Xinjiang, that's going to be a very just long hold them out kind of type deal. Um, Smiling Oil Man. You know what? With him here, he's actually helping make sure that we don't. Well, we're converting 159, so basically what we're losing is what's going. It's getting converted. So I mean, we could lose the Smiling Oil Man if we want to. We could switch over to our Happy Amateur, get increased consumer goods. Where are we at now? So that'll be 58. So if we could bring him in, that would drop the need down to about 53, perhaps. Is that what I'm kind of thinking? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that might be the. I mean, we're converting everything we're losing in oil is what we're converting to fuel, and that'll be going away pretty soon because honestly, we don't need to be converting to fuel any longer. So we could go to our Happy Amateur and increase our consumer goods by 10%. Um, that money hit is kind of but we're fine on money, honesty. This could be a good compromise, maybe. No negatives. This eventually, once 1941 rolls around, war with America starts, we want to switch over to him for that 10% naval organization. Well, not necessarily in December, probably like October. I want to take a look at my laws and uh, ministers so I can switch over. So that way we get the org bonus, and then the ships can, the fleets can boost up their org over time. That 10% bonus won't be immediate because it takes time. You gain like I don't know a hundredth of a percentage or hundredth of a point each hour. So it takes several days, if not weeks, to get your org back. So this guy we will be using in 1941. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Happy Amateur. I think I've talked myself into doing that. And our head of state, yeah, no, I need the IC. And the 10% bonus resource bonus is good too. Okay, so we got our laws in place for being at peace right now. So that way we can still have all our IC put toward the production queue. We have our ministers arranged as I like at this point here. So we'll go through all of these here. It says we have more efficient laws, but we're at a point where we can't do that. Thank you. And now we're just kind of waiting for these are the results of all those that I did here. We're just waiting for all our units to kind of move around the way they are. Um, why aren't you attacking him here? There you go. And then move back. Carrier damage control. That's 37 tech. We'll let that ride. Landing craft flotillas. We'll let that ride as well. It's 38 tech. We must have gone up a little bit in leadership because of the change in ministers and laws, perhaps. Some of those aspects I just gloss over and don't really realize. Let's also boost up our our spies a bit here. Yeah, we need 0.65, let's say. 0.66, that's fine. We need to drop this down to 0.02 diplomatic points. I just need about diplomatic points to kind of trickle in. We're at 34 DI. It takes one diplomatic influence for each trade that you do. You also spend diplomatic influence to, well, here in your diplomacy screen, if I were to ask Manchukuo for to share technology, for example, I'm sharing them technology. It will cost me a DI. Each offer trade agreement, and anything that I would um, utilize the diplomatic panel for pretty much in here pretty much uses a DI. So I just have it a little trickled in every now and then. Oh, Siam says they would like to sell me rare. No, no, thank you. Um, we can go ahead and adjust that, and reinforcements we can adjust. We're good there. Um, Here, I want to push this up to, let's say 25 for right now. I think that's a good number. That way, I'm over 200 for production, so that means I'm still getting most of this here. Um, and we can start knocking away on the upgrades I've kind of let go for so long. Mostly our units have lots of upgrades because we've done a lot of research regarding that. But we have a bunch of fleets that need to get upgraded too. Though, in all honesty, in later this year, I'm trying to think when I want to say summer, June of 39. I start putting in fleets for upgrades. I start with torpedo boats. Trying to think what else. Other fleet types that require upgrades aside from my capital ships, carriers, destroyers, and submarines. All my other fleets that and air that need to get some upgrades taken care of. I put them in manually and tell them to upgrade. That way, I can control how their upgrades go. Division headquarters. It's 1939 tech, but you know what? This is military tech at this point here. Let's go ahead and cancel that out. Any, when I say military, I mean land force is what it affects. Going forward in 1939 now, since we're so deep in the red up here, any tech that I get that's not naval forces or CAG or those prototype techs that go feed into CAG, or the infantry techs and artillery techs that help me maintain my superpower status. Everything else, I'll just go ahead and cancel when I research it. I'll get back to it later, but I need to start focusing more on my naval techs. So we got carrier ship raiders, good. So we have another uprising, but that's here, and I think they got killed. Okay. Range finding. Yeah, that one we need to definitely cancel. It's 1941 tech. No matter what, I don't go 2 years in advance or more. Money for rare materials, money for rare materials. We could probably afford it, but quite honestly, we're above 50,000 in rare materials. By the time that drops down, the rare materials drops down below 50,000. Yeah, that's fine. It'll be a long, long ways away. Still no decision, and that's what I'm waiting for is for that Tibet attack decision to come in. Destroyer escort role will keep. Hydrophone will also keep. We got some factories here. So we increased by one medium factory and we gained a supply factory. So we're up to, not quite sure exactly what this means. I don't think that's in the tech. Where was that tech in? Was it industry? Yeah, industry. Do we see a supply factory tech here? Hmm. Yeah, this is more for the land, naval, and air. Might it be a nation? No. Construction, maybe? Yeah, I'm not sure where the supply factories tech would be. I would imagine being in the nation section, and more to the point, probably here, where you have the supply repair technologies. But I don't see it there. And industrial is this is land, naval, and air, and you can see its breakdown. So I don't see where the supply. In any event, we have 11 supply factories, and it says we gain 3.5% supplies per level. So we're up to 38.5% at this point. I don't know if is that here in production. Maybe do we see that bonus? It could be part of that improved technology. It's 105.6, so that could be that 38.5 in there could be in that improved technology. Okay, so yes, maybe. We have a lot of IC going in towards a bunch of stuff here, so yay. Reinforcements will help filter that. Um, I think at this point now, I need to spend some time before we get too much further. Let's save the game. Now I need to start building out my production queue. We have 4 carriers, which I think puts us on about equivalent parity with the United States at this point. We're also building 3 more carriers, which I did a spy operation in a previous episode where I determined that the United States was building 4 more carriers. So currently, our parity is lost if this keeps going the way it's going. So as such, let's go ahead and build a couple carrier fleets, and I'll move all these industry builds down. Possibly also I'll move the infantry down too. We'll see. But anyway, let's get that started. So I want to build 2 regular carrier fleets, which I'm going to go ahead and do just that. We'll build them in parallel, meaning they'll both get built at the same time. 27 months. So effectively, that should be 1941, say April of 1941. We'll see what the actual date is on that once we get it built. We want to add in the CAGs that will be built for these, so we'll go ahead and start that production. So I said April of 41, so I was off a little bit. It's actually May of 41. I don't know if this is automatically taking, and also on the other screen, if it's automatically taking into account the percentage increase that we have, or that it decreased the amount of time that it takes from our IJN push, but it might. So anyway, we got these guys going. Let's go ahead and build their light cruisers. They're going to tag along with them. In this case, we're going to go ahead and build 5. So we have a fleet of 7 ships, 2 carriers, 5 light cruisers. They'll be finished this year, or no, next year, September. Okay. And now let's do a light carrier group here. I built 3 because regular carriers carry 2 CAGs each. So that carrier fleet that I was building has 2 carriers, will have 4 CAG on them. Light carriers can only carry 3, or carry 1 CAG on each. So these 3 will have 3 CAG on them. Doing it this way means that the light carrier fleet's a bit weaker than the regular carrier fleet, but not so much so, not terribly so. And because there's a speed difference between both the carrier and the light carrier, as you see, and it's quite great. I want to leave the light carriers alone. I don't want them in the same fleet as a carrier. Though, because of the speed of light cruisers, my carriers are going to be slowed down by them. That'll change though. Light cruisers will get increased speed. And so we can build a fleet of 7. I like 7 as a good number because your admirals, what are they? 3, 5, 7, 10, I believe, that they can for each of their ranks, increasing ranks, that they can lead into battle. I like 7, so that way I can level up an admiral to rank 3, so he can handle 7 ships. We'll put 4 light cruisers in there. Oh, did I not buy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I was talking about the light carriers, and I didn't go forward with that. I was gonna say, where are they at? So we're gonna build the Shokaku and the Zukaku, along with the Chichios, Chiada, and the Mitsu. Let's move these guys down. So that looks a little bit better. And now I'm going to drop, we've got 3 industry going right now. It's finishing in May. That's good. And then we'll have 3 more finishing this summer. That's good. I'll leave this infantry unit, but I'm going to drop those 2 infantry, and then all this industry is going to go down toward the bottom. Kind of bracket my builds here. This way, and I'll drop those infantry down as well. This way, we're building industry, our first group of naval units, bracketed by another industry and infantry to finish that up. And then another group of naval units, and then we'll have another grouping, say, of that infantry and a couple more industry. In fact, we'll do that and a couple more industry there with my next the grouping of units we're going to build. We're going to let that ride, though, because I think that this will kind of go red. No. Well, this is good. I'm not going to go any further deep in here. The next set of builds I'm going to do is destroyers, just out and out destroyers. I need a bunch of those going. but we'll wait on that. Small warship. That's not here. Cruiser medium anti-air artillery 1939 tech. We'll go ahead and let go. Still not there in decisions. Our units are moving all over the place, as you can see. At some point, too, the trigger for me taking over this area here should flip over, and China should then take over the rest of its country there. But we'll see. Destroy crew training, good. And in fact, is there anything I can do as Republic of China? Not even there. So, where is it? Politics, create puppet. I theoretically could do that, but no. Like I said, that decision I had made earlier for my war goal with China should be kicking in pretty soon. Carrier, light, anti-air, this is 1941. We can stop. Battlefield, we'll keep that going. Night attack, we'll keep that going as well. Belgium wants us to buy rare materials. We'll do that. That'll get us towards the green. Netherlands, we'll do that as well. We'll start getting a surplus there. Still nothing in decisions. Submarine crew training. That's 39 tech. We'll let that ride. Okay, well, we got some stuff happening here. So battleship crew and divisional command structure. Battleship crew, we'll let that ride. It's 39 tech. Divisional command structure. This is, as I said, it's land. It's a doctrine, but it's the Grand Battle Plan doctrine. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. We need to begin to focus a bit more on our naval tech. Unfortunately, Japan doesn't have all that much in the way of leadership. And wartime measures. War is over. Let's get peace a chance. Let's see. Is there anything here that's going to cause dissent? Not really. So let's go ahead and just do that. Remove the dissent. Formation of border garrisons in Manchukuo. We're going to go ahead and do that. That's going to cause a IC hit, as you can see, for the next 2 months, almost 2.5 months, at 15%. So that's going to hurt us a bit, but not for too long. And it's going to create about 10 garrison units, which we'll need in order to garrison China, parts of China that we are moving out of. We're moving our army out of it for the most part, back to the mainland, because they don't need to be sitting over here. I think it cost more to ship supplies from the mainland to China for a unit that's here not doing anything than it does to actually use supplies here on the mainland for the unit that's sitting here. I believe that's how it works. But let's form those garrison units. You see we lose some manpower and supplies. Not a big deal. Aircraft carrier research budget, we want to do high. The minister already is giving us a negative. What is that negative? 15% to money. So if we choose high, that's 45% loss to money. That's okay though. That's okay. You guys can pause and read all this here. Basically, this is just describing, well, a historical event, but also kind of a what if situation here. This part is pretty much the historical portion where the IJA is like, yeah, we want to take on Russia here and get the resources that are up in Siberia and whatnot. We want to restore our honor from the earlier battles that we lost against them in Manchuria. We want to be able to kick their butts. The Navy, though, said we'll get more resources in the islands here: fuel, oil, rubber, important things that the military as a whole needs down here in Southeast Asia. So we're going to force our way here. That's basically what this is all saying. This kicks that off. It basically says, hey, just get ready. You're going to be making some choices pretty soon. Which hopefully that will be very soon. Destroyer escort specialization. That's 40 tech. This isn't an urgent tech. It's in our naval doctrine. So as such, it's 1 year in advance. I'm going to go ahead and just cancel it for right now. But that was nice to get nonetheless, because you see the destroyer sub attack. We're going to be seeing lots of American subs. And we need that escort efficiency because our escorts or our convoys are going to be seeing a lot of American subs. So we have a good chance of getting a bonus here. Now, I don't know if the unit recruit time means all units, meaning naval as well as Army. Where things currently stand now, the Soryu and Hiryu will finish up in August um, of next year instead of 1941, so that's good. Zuho is finishing up January of next year. I thought that was December of this year, so I thought something must have happened to push that back a little bit. That's okay. We got a bunch of destroyers coming out, so that's a dozen IC, almost 2 dozen IC that will have to filter on further down the ranks here. Um, our new carriers that we're having build, the main ones are going to be done in May of 1941, so we're going to have to push some more into the queue here. Again, I'd like to try to have about 12 to 16 carriers by the time December 7th, 1941 rolls around. We got some light carriers that are going to be built in September. So I'm wondering, since if these count as units for the reorganization, meaning that their overall recruit time will be lessened by 3%. We don't care about illegal printing. How much of a money hit are we taking? Not much, actually. With all those negatives, yeah, it's 0.66 we're going down by. We could probably like start selling, see if we could start selling um, some of our energy. We could probably take a look at some of our trades for rares and see if we can moderate that a little bit. But anyway, that is not really needed either. And national revolt risk, lowering it could be good as well. So let's do the reorganization and cross our fingers and hope that unit recruit time does help for our ships. If anybody knows, um, let's say they want crude oil for money. Sure, I'm going to attack you soon, so I'll take my money when I can. Point for money, that helps out greatly. We got to get our consumer goods up a little bit, and this got adjusted all of it across the board because that 15% spawn penalty hit brought our IC down below 300 there. I actually thought it was going to be going even less. I had thought that once. Well, yeah, we still hold China. That's why our IC is so high. Once that event kicks in, that takes the better part of China away from me and gives it to China, my puppet. That will be our IC will be dropping greatly. Toshiba founded, we lose descent. Electronic computing machine gain at 360. That's good. We for the rest of the game, we'll be improving our money gain, and consumer goods needed during peacetime drops. So and also research efficiency. So all around, Toshiba founding helps us greatly. We won that battle. Wasn't really expecting otherwise. Another set of historical divisions. This is a historical event given by Black Ice. If we were still at war with China, these almost half dozen divisions would be greatly, greatly needed. Right now, though, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and take it anyway because this is a core's worth of troops that I'll be bringing in here, almost 100,000 troops. So yeah, we could use that. Where did they go? Oh yeah, that's right. We have all these garrison guys too that we need to adjust. Okay, so they're all over here. We're going to have them all just kind of march around to there. Let me assign them leaders. Um, somebody that's not, I don't like the old guard. I mean, there's a lot of bonuses for the old guard, but their experience gain isn't all that great. Though that said, you know what? That's fine. If they have decent bonuses all around, otherwise having a experience point, not really gaining too much in the way of experience, still is not that big of a deal. Okay. Some of these will be good in defense. That's what that shield here is, as an improved defensive doctrine. So I'll move all those guys there. And I have a bunch of garrison guys here. So how many can I take? Well, not even one. Wow. Oh, wait, there is no fleet. Oh, no, there's a fleet there. 1,067. You know, I thought I had that garrison improvement that lowered that by a bit, but maybe that doesn't work for these kinds of guys. So there's a way around that. We're going to group all these guys together. Rebase up here. group up in there, and I can carry 4 garrisons at a time. We're going to be sending them down to the south here. I'm going to have like 5 garrisons in this kind of operational area here, just running on or holding the ports that I have, the cities I have in various areas. Then they'll have another 5 over here. Same thing, holding the various ports and cities that I have around here. And I think there's then another group of garrisons I get later on, potentially. But we have the Kempetai group up here, another Kempetai group here, and then I got a bunch of militia that I'm probably going to send here in this area. Um, that'll allow us to go ahead and hold all of the coastal areas effectively. And if, like you saw there, the partisan pops up, no big deal. We will be able to kill him. Once we're done with the Tibet and Xinjiang wars, I'll have several cavalry units. I'll go ahead and send out to Burma so we can run to India and whatnot. But I think I'll leave one cavalry unit here in this area, and they're just going to be like fast responders as need be. Too much reinforcements and too much consumer goods. That's fine. I think we're back then a little bit to where we need to be. All those extra troops have hurt me as far as my leadership ratio goes. We lost even more IC because of the historical units, a 20% spawn. So now we've got all my light carrier groups or that light carrier group's not getting built at this point. Just the regular carrier group. Which do we see an improvement here? That's still August, and that's still January. These guys, Shokaku and Zukaku, are May of 41. Not really seeing a change there. So well, I don't know where that's at exactly. We may have rolled that 40% or less failure, where we received a penalty to our unit build time and our organization of all our units. We're going up in spies quite a bit here. Let's jump this down to 0.5, let's say, and bring this back up to 0.04. There we go. So we're gaining 84 new officers a day. Oh, gotta get back in the green. Gotta get back in the green. Road network, good. And am I going to go for that? That improves supply, and I think it does something else. What is that? A strategic effect that I can look up? I don't think it is, actually. You can see there's a lot of strategic effects that are available. Some of these we'll never see as Japan, but some we might. That land power I would like to get, but we're not going to learn the armor design, so we're never gonna see that. We need more planes to get the regional air power. We will see. I'm not sure why that's here. Why it's not here actually. We need to build more planes though, so we get that continental military power. We've got the sufficient number of brigades and ships. I thought there was like a naval power one, or there's naval builder. Anyway, looking for road. Dun, dun. That's that. Yeah, I don't think. Well, here we go. So road network gives us national unity and organization regain. The rail network we do want. So going forward now, we want to build the rail network when it gets researched, and seaports when it gets researched, because it'll give us an improvement to resources and money. I hadn't thought of that initially when I started off in the game here, and if I had looked at this a little more carefully, I was only doing the rail network for that IC efficiency overall at start. I wasn't building the others to avoid the IC penalty that you get for building them. But if I had looked at this, I would have been like, you know what, we need both the rail network and seaports. So going forward, and I'm making a note on my video about this, so that way I can make a note, an actual note that going forward in future campaigns, always make sure I build rail network and seaports so I can get those bonuses that they provide. The national unity, I think as Germany actually, this might be pretty good to be doing for them is the road network because Germany needs to get its unity boosted up so it can get so it's there's a couple events that require higher unity than they start the game with, but airports just aren't needed all until you're at war. Once you're at war, then you could use that air organization. So coastal subs, alrighty, up to level 5 with those guys. Carrier heavy anti-air. That's 1942 tech, so we'll go ahead and remove that. We're wasting some IC in reinforcements, and we'll leave the consumer goods alone for now. Is that even going down? Not really. So we'll just leave that alone. We need the IC back into here. The good news is that we just finished building something, a destroyer. Do I have, is there 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Yeah, it's this one, 26 Kaigun. I'll just filter those extra destroyers into there. You know what? I had sent the high over here. There they are. They need to merge with the Congo Navy. There we are. So, um, what's do I have their speed? Max speed 28.5, range 3600. Congo 28.5, 3600. So upgrading the high it's now on par with the Congo. Before, many years ago, it seems like the high was the slowest of all my battleships. But we went through an upgrade policy and got them to where they're at now. Assault concentration, we're gonna probably drop this off. It's 1939 tech. It's a grand battle plan. Uh, Therefore, we can just drop that off right now. Have a bunch of destroyers. They're going to the 26 Kaigun here. Just filling it out here, and then later on, we'll go ahead and staff out as we need. There'll be a few just a few more destroyer fleets I'm going to build, and there's in the future, there's also going to be a few more main lines, main ships of the line fleets that I'm be sending out, battleships, battle cruisers. I'll be building that I need more and more destroyers. Plus, we need a bunch of destroyers for losses coming as well. These guys are back to being built again. Good. And we're pushing down further there. Excellent. Small warship control. I think that's fire control system will be the other one that's there. We'll leave that alone. That is fire control. Good. The East Manchurian Railway. This will hit us for a couple months, but this is going to help out Manchukuo. That infrastructure modifications that you see there and the coal field, that's to improve Manchuria, my puppet there. There's still another event or 3 remaining regarding improving Manchuria, my puppet. And I do those because I'd like to keep Manchuria to be pretty strong just in case something goes bad here, where for whatever reason somehow the Soviet Union declares on me and attacks. At least I'll have a pretty strong ally here in Manchukuo. We're going to wait till the end of March, and then I'm going to go ahead and call the end of the episode. I spent a lot of time talking. I do apologize on that. But next few episodes here, pretty much going to be waiting for the war in Tibet. That's right. I want to build the road. Which I'm hoping is soon. It's got to be. I don't remember it appearing in 1940, but it may have been 1940 before it appears. We'll find out. Decryption machine. We'll go ahead and cancel that out. It's not a necessary tech that I need to stay ahead on the game, but it's good to have, as you can see, for that sub detection and attacking subs. We have a road network we want to build because that gives improvements that we could use immediately. The national unity will be very handy to have there. Because we want that to go up and up. As Japan, and I know I may have been saying that I probably didn't need to buy the road network right now, but as Japan, if things go poorly for us, which I don't anticipate, but if they do, we need higher unity. So that way, as the United States and the allies push in, we can hold out longer and longer. That may not be quite so fun a game, but at the very least, we can kind of, hold off as long as possible. So we have the 33rd Division. This will cost us 5 IC for another division, and that's cool. We're going to send him also, I think, over to here. There, actually. And let's get him a leader. Yeah, Fortress Buster. I kind of like that. Special Forces Upgrade Branch. It's 1939 currently, and this is for Marines. So I'm gonna let this ride. Even though I did say anything that's not naval oriented, I'm gonna go ahead and cancel. I do need my Marines to be as powerful as they can potentially be. So we're gonna let that ride. Get to the end of the month and the end of the episode. We need to improve consumer goods some more. Are all my units where they should be? This guy needs to. This guy needs to come down to here. Railroad network, yes, good. Single engine fighter prototype. We're going to cancel this for right now. Now, you know what? I got to keep that going. While I can hold off on researching my my Army techs a bit, my Air Force tech, I can't really let that go too far off. We're going to be building more fighters next year, 1941, I think, actually. So I'll be using the fighters on my islands, the ones that are close by to American places of interest. So I'll be putting fighters in those various areas, so that way they can kind of provide a little bit of cap in the area if there was any sort of movement. I'll also have a fighter or two, fighter wing or two set around here. If there's any sort of movement by the Allies, they bring in carrier forces. Those mine interceptors can shoot them on down. And we're on April 1st. Aircraft carriers design development. So this is the first of the aircraft carrier techs. And you can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. Looks like 12 total. A good dozen. We're gaining 37 to 45 points each. Real quick for end this game here. Well, if I'm already researching the ones that it said that it was giving me points to, then kudos. That's that much less. It's not any of these here that I see because there's no green in any of those there. There's those capital ships. You can see May. They'll be done next month, which will be 3 more texts that'll be kind of freed up for me here. So anyway, those points were still very handy. I will take them, and it's only going to get better going forward from there. Let me save the game, and also let me say thank you for everybody who's been following along with me. Please provide any comments, questions down below that you may have. I'm happy to answer them, and I'll see you guys next episode. Take care.